What's up everyone? We are one day away from the 7th live eviction of Big Brother 23 and Tiffany is looking to flip the vote. Will she be able to do it or will it stay as is? One thing is for sure, this is Big Brother, so we have to expect the unexpected. We've got so much to talk about guys, so welcome to your live feed update. Alright folks, so question of the day that I'm going to throw to you guys straight away is that do you want Tiffany to flip the vote to keep Derek X in the house this week and send Claire out the door? So I guess in essence the question is, would you rather see Derek X or Claire evicted? But just for this topic's sake guys, would you like to see Tiffany flip the vote and keep Derek X in the house this week? Okay folks, so Tiffany is hoping to keep Derek X in the house this week, which obviously would come as a surprise to quite a lot of people. We've seen her express that she likes Derek X and she kind of wants him to stick around, but we haven't really seen her go, let's do this, let's keep him around. But she's done it, she said it now and she's got a plan. So folks, this is where things are going to get interesting. So Xavier obviously is going into solitary confinement today folks. It's Wednesday, later this evening he's going to go into solitary. And Tiffany's plan is basically letting everybody shoot their ammo on the campaigns on who should go, Claire or Derek X. Most of it is directed towards Derek X obviously. But of course, just like, you know, a weapon in real life, you run out of ammo eventually, and Tiffany is planning to save her ammo until everybody has run out of theirs, and she's going to come in behind. So it's quite metaphorical the way this is going to happen, but she's going to come in behind with her ammo, and then after Xavier's gone into solitary, because obviously Tiffany and Xavier are the two power players in the house, I would say right now, in terms of strategy wise. It's them two, and with him locked away, not being able to strategize to everybody, guess who has the floor? It's Tiffany guys, and Tiffany is going to try and use her ammo to persuade people to keep Derek X around. So it should be interesting to see if she can actually do this and who she's going to persuade to keep Derek X around. Now, Big D has said that if he wins the power next week, which would be the coin of destiny in the high roller room, which is essentially a coup d'etat, which is what we've kind of discussed before, he said he would be tempted to put up Tiffany alongside either Claire or Sarah Beth. Now, interesting strategy there. It obviously will start to become a time of the cookout turning on one another, because I don't think he'll be targeting Tiffany, but we've seen tension between Tiffany and Big D, so Tiffany's probably going to take that personally, and Big D probably means it personally as well, because if he didn't, the logical thing to do, being in the cookout, would be for him to put up Claire and Sarah Beth. So that's what he should be doing if he actually wants to stay solid with the cookout and keep himself as a good number in the cookout, because as it is already, Big D is kind of position 5 or 6 I would say in the cookout, so for him to probably burn that bridge even further to the point where he becomes number 6. I would say he will become number 6 if he puts Tiffany on the block. He probably needs to realise putting Claire and Sarah Beth is the best option for his game. So yeah, I think we're just looking at this objectively here folks. You know, for his game he needs to put up Claire and Sarah Beth rather than Tiffany, because it won't do him any good in the cookout. I mean, Tiffany, I would say, as I've said, Arza and Big D are in the bottom of the cookout, and Tiffany definitely favours Arza over Big D, and she certainly will even more if Big D was to put her up on the block. But as it is now, guys, with the BB books, the only two people who can possibly get the coin flip of destiny next week are Big D and Hannah, because they're both on 150 BB books right now, and it's 250. It's 250 to compete in the coin flip of destiny. So both of them would need to land in the 100 section next week if they were to have a chance at it. And who's to say they might not even do it? I would imagine so. They would. It makes complete sense to do it. It's a big move for your game. Go ahead and do it. But Big D and Hannah both need to get 100 more BB bucks to compete in the coin flip of destiny. Having said that, if Derek X does indeed stick around, he's on 200 BB bucks, which is 50 ahead of Derek F and Hannah. So if he can get even just 50 this week, which by default you get, he will compete in the coin flip of destiny, no questions asked. So obviously Derek X will have to stick around for that to happen. So let's see if Tiffany can work her magic and for Derek X to stick around and play in the coin flip of destiny next week. The three guys in the cookout met with Tiffany, and they basically kind of had this agreement to make sure that they agree on who is going to be evicted before Xavier goes into solitary confinement, just to kind of make sure everything's laid out. And Callan kind of straight up said to Tiffany, if you've got any airs and graces about keeping Derek X around, tell us now. And of course Tiffany kind of didn't budge on that. She was kind of dead set saying that Claire should, Derek X should go out the door, and Claire's obviously going to stay. But we know what Tiffany really wants, so it's difficult to say really. Obviously, with Big Brother, we get to see a wider perspective of what's going on than the house guests, but we still don't get to see the full perspective, because We don't know what's going on in the minds of the house guests. So Tiffany could have just said that in the fact of she's lying to them and she's going to kick into gear when X goes into solitary, or she could genuinely be agreeing with them. But like I say, folks, this is Big Brother, so expect the unexpected. Tiffany and X were kind of discussing the cookout, and Tiffany was saying that she thinks that the guys believe that the girls in the cookout are not pulling their weight, and she was kind of fretting about Sarah Beth, saying like, what's going to happen when, you know, we get down to 6, 5, 4, 3 and Sarah Beth is still here, which seems like a crazy idea. I spent a lot of yesterday's video just saying there's no way Sarah Beth's going to make it that far, especially after the damage she's done on her own game this week. Obviously she hasn't realised that yet because she doesn't know there's a cookout, but that would be crazy if Sarah Beth actually ended up making it that far. It would make sense too, because I don't think anybody in the jury is going to say Sarah Beth played a good game. It's tough because obviously the cookout will be revealed to the jury, I would imagine, by that point, and then one side of people will go, damn, you know, Sarah Beth, she outlived most of the cookout, you know, and then the other side of things you'll go, oh, she kind of got carried to the end by the person who ran the cookout, or was in the best position in the cookout and obviously got to the end. So on face value, I would straight up say that if it's Sarah Beth versus a cookout member in the final two, the cookout member will win, because it's fair to say they've played a much more impressive game. But obviously, this is hypothetical. We've got many, many weeks to go until finale night still. And Sarah Beth might kick into gear and become strategic mastermind. I highly doubt it, but it's possible, folks. I think I've said this multiple times in this video, more than I have in a while in one video. But this week really does feel like, especially moving into next week, with all the ifs and buts and who knows what's going to happen, it really is that theme of expect the unexpected. It's cheesy as hell, but it's Big Brother. Tiffany talking to the cameras at one point, and she'd said to Carlton and Xavier, this is just the master of Tiffany's work again, I'm always in awe of watching her play the game. She'd said she promised to Carlton and Xavier that she wouldn't tell them the idea of keeping Derek X around. She wasn't going to pitch that to them, but she didn't promise she wouldn't pitch it to anyone else. She didn't promise that she wouldn't help Derek X find a campaign, and she said that she wants to, quote unquote, add a little seasoning to the cookout, being Derek X. So I think she basically said, you know, she's came here to play the game this summer. She hasn't came here to lie around and sunbathe and do nothing. She wants to play the damn game, which is why she wants to keep Derek X around. I'll be extremely impressed, and this will probably be, in my opinion, the first strategic power play of the season. We've seen power plays in essence of taking comp beasts out like Christian, but it wasn't all strategic, it was more just a big move. If she can flip the vote and keep Derek X, this will be the first moment that will make everybody go, what the just happened? Because X will come out of solitary, and he'll be like, you know, you can imagine the look on his face. It'll be like Fessy from BB20, who flipped, you know. Obviously X is a lot more clued in the game than Fessy was, but that's going to ruffle feathers. And Sarah Beth, she is the type to, I do think she'll probably throw a tantrum if she doesn't get her way of Derek X leaving this week. I could be totally proven wrong there, but I just think it's going to be one of those weeks where if she can flip it, it's going to be one of those what just happened moments in Big Brother history that we'll all remember. In 5 years' time, if there's still Big Brother on, we'll be going, geez, do you remember that moment on Big Brother 23 when we're watching Big Brother 28, which sounds crazy, but Big Brother 23, when Tiffany flipped the vote and kept Derek X around, it would be a mind-blowing moment, truly. So if Tiffany can pull this off, I've just got nothing but good words of respect to say to her. Despite all the vote talk that is actually happening, we've got some nice sort of wholesome moments between Claire and Derek X. Both of those are obviously the nominees, and both of them are fan favourites. I've seen a lot of support for both of them, and it's really going to be sad either way, in my opinion, to lose either this week. Both brilliant housemates, people that I think we've wanted on Big Brother for such a long time, over the past 3-4 years, when we've kind of gone, I wish there was more people like that in the house. Claire and Derek X are literally the epitome of that, and it's going to be real sad to see either of them go. Both are playing the game, and both are genuinely down-to-earth, great people, in my opinion, or what we see of them anyway, seem like great people. So it's going to suck to see either of them go, but they were having a laugh in the garden. They were just kind of, they seemed like a really good friendship, and it's really wholesome to see, and they were laughing with each other and everything. And it's nice to know, you know, when we saw Claire really upset at the beginning of this week, and obviously Derek X will be leaving Hannah, and if he does go, that is obviously, it's the what if Tiffany flips the vote, and he's played so hard and his game's going to be going down the drain, potentially, and he's got all these BB books that are going to disappear, potentially. So despite all these bad things, it's nice to see them getting along and having a laugh and being happy, because it's just really wonderful to see. And obviously the week ain't over yet. The famous words, it ain't over till it's over. But it's nice to see them having some fun before, I guess, the storm hits the house. That is all of your live feed updates for today, folks. I thoroughly hope you all enjoyed watching. Please let me know your thoughts on this week in the comment section below. It's kind of a crazy one with, as I've said many times, expect the unexpectedness. A lot of that going on in the house. So let me know how you felt with Sarah Beth / Carland as the head of household this week. And let me know who you would like to see evicted this week. Claire, Derek, X. Do you want Tiffany to flip the vote? Do you think it's going to be beneficial to Tiffany for X going into solitary confinement? There's lots and lots to talk about, guys. So please let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on this season so far, folks. But I'll say as I always do, make sure that you're staying safe, staying positive and staying healthy out there, guys, and be kind to one another, okay? So folks, in the meantime, please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Until your next live feed update, I've been your host Tom Vasey. Good night.